So we'll get started in whatever position you find most comfortable. You can choose to lay down or you can choose a seated position. It's up to you. Taking a moment to decide whether you'd be more comfortable seated or reclined, and then allowing yourself to settle into whatever shape you choose. And take a moment to settle in at each and every place where the body touches down on the ground or on some kind of support. Letting yourself get a little bit heavier at each point of contact. Anchoring down and connecting with the ground beneath you. You can choose if you'd like to close your eyes to turn your focus inwards, or let your gaze soften down so that your eyes are heavy. And the gaze is soft. We'll release the other muscles of the face, softening the forehead and releasing the jaw open, letting the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. Let the shoulders get a little bit heavier. Allow the arms to hang heavy at their sides, but allow them to be supported somewhere. So if you're seated, maybe resting your hands on your legs. If you're laying down, allowing your arms to rest comfortably on the floor. And we'll continue to scan through the body, looking for any areas where you feel like you're holding on, and allowing yourself to soften. Releasing tension as you go, and again getting heavier on that, settling in a bit more deeply as time passes. Once you finish scanning through the body, turning your awareness to your breathing. First, just noticing how your breath feels as it enters and exits the body. Noticing what parts of the body move as you inhale and exhale. And becoming aware of any sensation that accompanies that movement. Noticing the feeling of the breath traveling down into the body and back up again. But also noticing the feeling of your ribcage expanding and softening. Maybe your shoulders rise and fall. Maybe your belly rises and falls. Tuning into those small movements. And if you notice that your breathing is a bit shallow or short, try drawing the next breath a little bit more deeply into the body. As you inhale, feel the breath travel down the throat, filling up the lungs, allowing the belly to rise. And then as you exhale, let the air travel back up and out just as slowly. Inhaling, drawing the air down the length of the body. And exhaling, releasing it back up and out. Once you found a comfortable, slow, steady rhythm for your breathing, take a moment to notice that pace, that tap. And as we go through the class, remember what that feels like right now so that you can use your breath as a guide. And take our first pose laying down. So if you are in a seated position, taking your time, making your way down onto the ground on your back, moving any props out of the way. And then as one, we'll draw our knees in towards our bodies, holding onto knees or shins or hamstrings. And we'll start to gently rock from side to side, massaging the low back. Taking our time to shift side to side. And notice the contact of the back on the mat. Notice how it shifts as you move from side to side, getting a little bit heavier on the right side as your knees move right, and a bit heavier on the left side as the knees move left. And we'll start off with a gentle twist. So let's release our arms out into a T shape or cactus with the elbows bent at 90 degrees. And we'll shift both knees over towards the left side, allowing them to drop down onto the floor. If you need some extra support, either below or between your knees, you could place a cushion or block or a book if you have one. Allow the knees to work towards stacking one over the other. And if it's comfortable, anchor down through the right shoulder. So the right shoulder is heavy on the ground and the knees are working with gravity to gradually get heavier. If it's uncomfortable to keep your right shoulder pressed to the floor, you can let your knees come all the way down and then wrap your arm around the front of your body, slowly working your right shoulder back down a little at a time. It's up to you which option you choose. Either way, you can turn to look towards the right side if that's comfortable for your neck, bringing the twist up into the cervical spine. And you can allow your left arm to rest in that T or cactus shape. You can bring your left hand onto your right knee for a little bit of support, a little bit of extra gravity. Starting off with this gentle twist. And as we inhale, let's fill up the rib cage. Fill up the belly. You might feel your legs lift a little bit. As you exhale, allow them to lower, draw the lower belly in, let the ribs empty. As we inhale, we create a little bit more space in the body, and as we exhale, we'll find some softness. Taking the time to get a little bit heavier through each point of contact once again. And with each inhale, finding a sense of lightness, a sense of expansion. Let's take 4 more deep breaths on this side. And then after you finish your 4 deep breaths, bringing your gaze all the way back up, we'll draw the knees up to center and hug those knees in towards the chest once again, maybe rocking from side to side or maybe staying in stillness, whatever you'd prefer. Taking the time to notice if there are any differences from one side of the body to the other. Checking in especially at the low back, the hips, and the outer upper legs, outsides of the thighs. From here, we'll make our way into a twist on the other side, starting by taking the arms out into a T shape or cactus, and then allowing the knees to drop all the way over on the right side of the body. Working towards stacking the knees. And again, if it's comfortable, let that left shoulder get really heavy. So focusing more on the left shoulder going down. Maybe letting that left knee float a little bit, supporting those legs with any props that you might need. And of course, if it's not comfortable to have your left shoulder pressing down, you can lift your left arm and bring it across the front of your body so that your left shoulder lifts up. Stack your knees, get your legs really heavy, and then start to draw the shoulder back down. Both options are great options. You can choose if you'd like to look over towards the left side, bringing your gaze towards your left fingertips, twisting through the neck. And you can either leave your right arm in the T or cactus shape, or you can bring your hand onto your left knee for some support, some comfort. And again, here, once you've settled in, we'll start to focus on our breathing. Allowing each inhale to bring a sense of expansion. And each exhale to bring a sense of softness and heaviness. Filling up completely as you breathe in. And emptying completely as you breathe out. And let's take 4 more slow, steady breaths on this side. Really focusing on that lightness, that expansion as you breathe in. And some softness and heaviness as you breathe out. Whenever you finish your 4 breaths, no rush if you're not there yet. Bring the knees all the way back up to center and hug them in once again. Wrapping hands either around shins or hamstrings. And either staying in stillness or rocking from side to side. Let's bring the body back to center if you've been rocking. Place the left foot down onto the floor so the knee points up towards the ceiling. And we'll start by drawing the right knee in towards the chest. You can leave your right ankle relaxed or you can flex at the ankle, whatever you prefer. And as we inhale, let's allow that right knee to move away slightly. As we exhale, draw it in closer. Allowing the head, neck, and shoulders all to be heavy. Allowing the arms to bring that little bit of extra weight onto the leg. If you're not feeling any sense of stretch here and you'd like to extend your left leg out onto the ground, you can do that as well. Allowing the left leg to be long. And maybe noticing a difference in sensation. For me, when I extend my left leg out, I feel a little bit more stretch along the front of my left hip. And a little bit less of a stretch through my right hamstring and right glute. If you notice that your chin is lifting up towards the ceiling, draw it back down so the back of the neck is long. And again, as we inhale, let's allow the right leg to move away from the body slightly. And as we exhale, draw it in closer. If you did straighten out your left leg, let's bend that left knee and place the foot down onto the floor once again. And we'll extend the right foot up towards the ceiling, bringing the hands to the back of the right hamstrings. And we'll start on this side by pointing the toes up towards the ceiling and then flexing at the ankle and drawing the toes back down towards the shin. Taking your time, moving really slowly, alternating between pointing and flexing. And as you move, taking notice of what you feel and where you feel it. As I point my toes up, I can notice the stretch along the top of my foot, top of my ankle, and through the muscles over my shin. And as I flex at the ankle, I notice a stretch in the calf. That's pretty common, but also through the bottom of my foot and even up into the hamstrings. You can start to take your foot in circles if you'd like, rotating at the ankle, moving really slowly again so that you can notice what comes up for you. And I'll take those circles in the other direction. Notice if it changes anything for you. And when you're ready, bringing that ankle back to stillness. From here, we'll take a stretch along the back of the hamstring. So we'll start by flexing at the ankle, drawing the toes back. As much as it's comfortable, straighten out your leg. And then if you'd like, you can move your hands up to the back of your calf instead of the back of your hamstrings if that's comfortable for you, or even holding onto your foot if you're that flexible. If you have a strap or a belt that you'd like to use, you can place it around the ball of your foot. And just as we did in the wind relieving pose, if you feel like you would be comfortable with your left leg extended, you can feel free to release it along the mat. Only if it's comfortable for you. And again, as you do that, if you do that, noticing what changes for you. A lot of times it will take a little bit away from the stretch on the right side. So being mindful of that. Taking a moment to figure out what your position will look like. And then once you found that place where you feel a little bit of a stretch along the back of the right leg, but nothing too intense, that's where we'll pause. Allow ourselves to breathe in that position. Filling up as we inhale and softening as we exhale. After a few breaths, checking in again, noticing how you feel. Noticing if that sensation has become more intense or less intense, and adjusting if you need to. Allow yourself to work with the edge, a place where maybe there's a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of tension, but nothing too intense. You're able to have your upper body relaxed, your jaw is soft, And your breath continues to flow in that comfortable, steady rhythm we established at the beginning of the practice. Let's take 5 more deep breaths on this side. Maybe pulling your leg in a little bit closer as you exhale. And then if your left leg is straight on your mat, taking a moment to bend the knee and place the foot on the floor. After you finish your 5 breaths, releasing your hands from the back of the right leg, we'll bend the right knee and cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Let's flex the right ankle and press the right knee away from the body. And take a moment to check in for sensation on the outer right leg, outer right hip. If you're already feeling it where you are, you can stay right there. If you don't feel it just yet and you'd like to move deeper, you can lift your left foot off the floor, thread your right hand in between your legs, and wrap both hands around the back of the left hamstring. Once again, we'd like the right ankle to stay flexed, right knee to move away from the body. Let the head and shoulders stay heavy and connected with the ground. Chin tucks down towards the chest. If you are continuing to move your right away from the body and left knee in towards the chest and you're still not feeling that sensation there, you can work with adjusting the position of your pelvis by drawing your tailbone down towards the ground, creating a little bit of space between the low back and the mat. Notice if that changes the position for you. Notice if it changes what you feel in this shape. Gradually drawing that left knee in a little bit closer with each exhale. Right knee moves a little bit further away with each exhale. As you introduce a little bit of softness each time you breathe out. Let's take 2 more slow, steady breaths on this side, allowing yourself to move into your deepest variation of the pose. And then we'll release the left foot back down onto the ground if it's not there already. We'll keep the right leg as it is, with the ankle stacked on top of the left leg. And take our arms out into a T shape or a cactus shape. From here, we'll take a deep breath in at center. As we exhale, let's allow the left knee and right foot to move towards the left side, bringing the bottom of the right foot to connect with the ground. From here, some options include allowing that right leg to soften if it feels too intense for you, or continuing to press the right knee away if you need that little bit of extra push to find that sensation. You can choose if you'd like to look over towards the right side, allowing the arms to soften down. You won't be in this one for quite as long. Just taking a couple of inhales and exhales here. Taking the time to scan through the body and notice where you feel the shape and how your breath feels as you rest here. And then we'll bring everything all the way back up to center, looking up if you looked towards the right, and then drawing both knees up. We'll place the right foot down onto the floor just beside the left, maybe about hip distance apart, and we'll allow the bottoms of both feet to connect with the ground. You can bring your hands to rest, one on your heart and one on your belly if you'd like, or you can leave them out to the side. And we'll take a moment to check in, notice any differences from right side to left, and allow the hips to find a neutral position for a moment. From here, let's draw the left knee in towards the chest. We'll wrap our hands around shin or hamstring. You can either flex at the ankle or leave that left ankle soft. And continue to draw the knee in towards the body as we exhale. Maybe move it away from the body slightly as we inhale. If you'd like and it's comfortable for you, you can extend your right leg out onto the ground here. If you do so, noticing how that changes the sensation you feel. Take 2 more slow, deep breaths here, drawing that left knee in. And then if if your right leg is extended, we'll bend the right knee, place the right foot onto the floor. We'll release the hands from the left leg and extend that left foot up towards the ceiling, bringing hands to the back of the left hamstring. From here, I'll start by pointing the toes up towards the ceiling and flexing at the ankle, drawing the toes back down. Go back and forth between those two, moving slowly and taking time to notice what you feel as you move. Notice any areas of tightness, any areas where you feel a deeper stretch. And then we'll start to take that foot in circles, rotating at the ankle. Taking your time once again, noticing how you feel. And we'll change directions, go the other way. And bringing the leg back to stillness, we'll find a static stretch for the back of the left leg. Taking a moment to maybe straighten that leg a little bit more. Looking for a little bit of sensation through the left hamstrings, maybe through the left calf. If you feel like you would want to move your hands to the back of your calf instead of your hamstring, you can do that as well. Again, only if it's comfortable. We want to find a place where there's maybe a little bit of a stretch, but nothing too intense along the back of that left leg. By the same token, if you'd like to extend your right leg out onto the floor, you can do that as well. Reminder, you can keep as much of a bend in your left knee as you need to. You can have that left ankle flexed, or you can have it soft. As long as you're in a position where you feel you can hold this pose for a few minutes and your breath is flowing smooth and steady. Shoulders are relaxed and heavy on the ground. Chin tucks down towards the chest. And the breath flows comfortably in and comfortably out. After a few breaths, checking in, noticing if you need to adjust at all. If the sensation has become more intense instead of less intense, maybe taking a gentler variation, moving your leg further away from your body, bringing a little bit more of a bend to your knee. And if you've come to a point where you're no longer feeling that sensation along the back of your leg, maybe choosing to draw that leg in a little bit closer, looking once again for the edge, that start of sensation. Using time and breath to make your way into deeper variation a little at a time. Take 5 more complete slow breaths here. After your 5 breaths, if your right leg is extended, bending that knee, placing the foot down on the floor. We'll release the hands from the back of the left leg and we'll cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Let's flex at the left ankle, so toes draw back towards the shin, and we'll press the knee away from the body on the left side. Taking a moment to check in on that left hip, noticing what, if anything, you feel there. You might choose to stay where you are if you're already feeling that sensation, or you might choose to lift your right foot off the floor, threading your left hand in between your legs and wrapping both hands around the back of the right hamstring. From here, we'll keep pressing that left knee away and maybe drawing the right knee in. Let the shoulders and head ground down. And then if you feel like you need something further, you can focus on drawing your tailbone down towards the ground as the low back separates from the mat. And then still draw the right knee in, press the left knee away. Taking your time to gradually make your way deeper into the pose. And let's do 4 more steady, slow breaths on this side. Maybe allowing your legs to move away as you inhale and towards you as you exhale. And when you're ready, releasing. Placing the right foot back down onto the ground. We'll keep the left ankle on the right thigh. Stick the arms out into a T or cactus shape. Take an inhale at center, and then as we exhale, we'll let the right knee and left foot flow down towards the right side. Maybe connecting the bottom of the left foot with the ground. Forgot to mention on the other side, another option if just bringing that left knee in closer isn't making the position comfortable enough for you, you could bring that left foot to rest on top of the right leg. It takes a lot of the pressure off the outer left leg. And then if you needed to go deeper, just keep pressing that left knee away from the body. So again, less intensity, drawing that left knee in closer, or even stacking the left foot on the inner right thigh. More intensity, left foot on the floor, pressing the left knee away from the body. And choose to look over towards the left side, focusing your gaze on your elbow or on your fingertip. And again, this one's a little bit of a shorter pose. Taking just a few slow, steady breaths here. And let's bring those legs all the way back up to center. Place the left foot down onto the floor beside the right. Turn your gaze back up towards the ceiling if you were looking up. You can leave your arms in the T or cactus shape, or you can bring them so that left hand rests on the heart, right hand on the belly. Take a moment here with the hips in a neutral position, feet about hip distance apart. And check in. Notice how you feel at your hips, through the upper legs, through the lower legs, and through the feet. Maybe even through the low back. From here, let's straighten the left leg out onto the floor. And we'll take the right knee over towards the left side of the mat. Coming into a deeper twist than the one we started off with. If it's uncomfortable for you, you can always take the first version that we did with the 2 knees stacking, one on top of the other. If you notice that your shoulders feel like they're too far right on your mat, you can shift them a little bit further left so your shoulders line up over your hips. The arms can be in T or cactus, or you can bring your left hand to rest on your right leg if that feels comfortable for you. And the same options apply here as they did in the first pose as well. You can either work with your right shoulder anchoring down and let gravity work on your leg. Or if it's uncomfortable for your right shoulder, you can bring that right knee all the way down to the floor or onto a prop and let your left shoulder lift up, curling over. And then gradually drawing the right shoulder down. Both options are great. You can choose if you want to look over towards your right fingertips. Allow the left leg to be nice and soft. And as you inhale, inhale so big that your rib cage and your belly expand. Maybe your right knee wants to lift a little bit. Let that happen. As you exhale, draw your low belly in. Let the rib cage soften as the lungs empty, and let that right knee float a little closer to the floor. Let's count 5 breaths on this side. And whenever you finish your 5 breaths, we'll bring the right knee all the way back up. Extending the right leg out beside the left and shifting the shoulders and the gaze all back to the center of the mat if they've moved away. Take a moment to shift the feet from side to side, almost like windshield wipers, back and forth. And then from here, we'll bend the left knee, placing the left foot onto the floor. Take the arms out to the sides, and then allow that left knee to come all the way over towards the right side. Twisting again, or maybe a little bit further than you did the first time. Of course, you have the option if you'd like to bend your right knee and bring it up under your left for support if that's more comfortable for you. You can choose to support your left knee with any other kind of cushion or block if you have one. If it feels comfortable, letting that left shoulder be really heavy on the ground, letting the left arm act as an anchor, and then allow gravity to work on the left leg. If for any reason that's not comfortable, you can reverse it, bringing the left knee down, bringing the left arm across the front of the body, and then gradually drawing the left shoulder back. Taking a moment to check in where you are, notice if it feels comfortable for you. Choosing if you need to move your shoulders slightly more to the right so that shoulders stack over the hips. You can choose to look over your left shoulder towards your elbow or your fingertip. Right arm can stay in T or cactus, or you could bring your hand to rest on your left leg. And then we'll start to settle in. Inhaling full deep breaths and exhaling full deep breaths. We'll take 5 on this side as well. Whenever you're finished your 5 breaths, bringing your left knee all the way back up to center. We'll extend the left leg out beside the right. And we'll gently bring the whole body back to the center of the mat before shifting the feet from side to side. Taking a moment to notice how you feel through your legs, through your hips. This class was really focused on the legs and the hips and some twisting. Scanning all those areas, noticing what you feel. If you are noticing any tenderness in your low back, take a moment to bend your knees, bring your feet to the outer edges of your mat, and then allow your knees to rest against each other. Drawing the tailbone up towards the ceiling and out towards your feet so that the low back rests comfortably on the floor. Take our arms out into a T shape or a little bit closer to the body, whatever feels the most comfortable for you, with palms facing up. And if you are not feeling any low back tenderness and you'd like to take a traditional Shavasana, you can walk your heels down to the top corners of your mat and allow your toes to rock open to the sides. If there's any other position that you'd prefer, you're welcome to that as well. Finding something that feels restful and supported. Choosing if you'd like to close your eyes or allow your gaze to soften. Drawing the chin down towards the chest to bring some length to the back of the neck. Relaxing the jaw, allowing the upper and lower teeth to separate from one another. And allowing the tongue to soften away from the roof of the mouth. Relaxing the muscles of the neck and the shoulders, letting the shoulders be heavy on the ground. Noticing the support all along the length of the arms. Allowing yourself to settle into that support. Softening through the chest and the belly, releasing any sense of holding on, any sense of effort there. And allowing yourself to be a bit heavier through your hips and through whatever parts of your legs are touching down on the floor, whether it's the whole length of your legs or the bottoms of your feet. If your knees are bent and resting against one another, notice that connection between the knees. And take a moment to scan through the body one more time, looking for any areas of tension or tightness. And imagining them releasing, allowing yourself to soften. If you have been focusing on controlling your breath, letting that go as well. Your breathing to settle into a comfortable, natural rhythm for you. Releasing any effort from breathing. And allowing yourself a few moments here to rest. Resting the body, allowing the body to integrate the practice. Resting the mind. Taking a few moments just to be here and now. If your awareness has drifted elsewhere, taking a moment to bring your attention back to your body, back to your breathing. We'll start to invite some small movements, gently wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, maybe circling wrists and ankles if that's available in the shape you've chosen. Turning the head from side to side. Bringing the body back to stillness. If you are laying on your back, taking a moment to draw your knees into your chest and roll over onto whichever side of the body is more comfortable. Maybe resting your head on the upper part of the arm that's on the ground. Drawing your knees in close. Maybe giving yourself a little hug. From there, let's make our way up to comfortable position. Using any props that you need, feeling free to sit on any furniture if that's more comfortable for you. Allowing yourself to find equal weight through both sides of the body. Bring our hands together in front of our hearts. Feeling the outer edges of the palms and the tips of the fingers. I'd like to thank you for taking this time to practice with me. From my light to yours, namaste.